I like that. This beat is sick. COVID. I'm not a rapper. What's up, chat? Happy Thursday, January 20th, 2022. We've got 3 games on the NBA DFS docket tonight. Not a whole lot to be excited about. Lopsided spread in the main event. And then, of course, the Mavericks, night 2 of a back-to-back, hosting the Suns. And then you get the Pelicans and the Knicks. A little bit of a reprieve from last night, but last night was crazy. You guys play last night? I'm assuming you did. Nikola Jokic, 93 DraftKings points, extra innings for that game. That game was the polar opposite of like their last game, right? The Clippers and the Nuggets a couple weeks ago was like straight out of the 1970s with like no shot clock. And then yesterday was kind of like a shootout that went to overtime. Like, wow. Yeah, so if you had Jokic, nice. Usually a great play last night, an incredible play. Needed to be the highest score on the slate at 12.4K on DraftKings. He was like, I got you. He did it. Joel Embiid, 77 DKP, never felt so irrelevant, huh? 50 real points, 12 boards, but was in the shadows of Jokic's monster game. Luka Doncic, 41 real points, 72.5 DraftKings points, and then Giannis and Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, Ja Morant, all high 60s. It was a pretty high-scoring slate for the studs last night. Pretty high-scoring slate overall. Couple of ejections, Anthony Edwards, Jimmy Butler. It was what a big NBA slate typically is. A couple surprises. Mo Bamba, 5,300 on DK, 32 real points, 4 rebounds, hit 7 threes, and 3 blocks to boot. Yeah, I don't know. It was what it was. Monte Morris, dang near got himself a triple-double in 45 minutes. I don't think a lot of people were on Monte Morris yesterday. It was a pretty wild slate. Wild slate. What are you gonna do? They go like that. Let's go home.
Let's go home. Let's go home.
I'm scared.
3-game slate. one for my right ball, one for my left ball, and one for my pay NISS. Good luck, God bless, and go win some money.
I feel like the bot is evolving. I think you got him with that before, and she was like, never again. Like, artificial intelligence is a wild thing. What up, OG Crypto? What up, chat? How you guys doing? We got a little bit more time today than we did yesterday. Yesterday, I was just trying to thumb through it, make sure I was off the air in time to be in the Discord, get you guys out of here so you can go on about your business. What up, Goat? Mia Moore in chat, Nate D, Sean V. Who else out there? Skimmer, Rory says this beat is sick. Justin Brooks had to turn the golf off. What's up, fam? What up, Justin? Golf, I guess, not going great. I don't know. I don't know how to sweat golf. Like, I don't know if it's over in the first day. Obviously, I know there's cuts and so on and so forth, but I don't know when is too early to be tilted. When is, you know what I mean? Anyway, what up, Adam? What's good, Gun? I was winning the 50K contest on Fanduel at halftime. Garbage time killed me. It'd be like that. The worst place to be is in first place until the minutes left in the slate. That's where I've won all my tournaments. Rarely am I up there shaking a stick and surviving. What up, Jay Smooth? Eric? Eric, what's up, Eric? Alex in the chat went to the Bucks Memphis game last night. Got awkward when I was cheering Concher and Morant. Dang. Guys, it is really cold in here. It is 30 degrees. My feet are cold. And I had to turn the heat off. Otherwise, you guys just hear, like, I don't know, sound like I'm a jet engine. So appreciate that I'm bearing the bitter cold, the elements, to talk some DFS. Jeremy Savage, OG Crypto, Obi-Wan, Giuliano. I'll beat that robot like I can't. I can't. Guys, I bought a NFT a couple weeks ago. Anybody else do NFTs? And I forgot about it. It was like a mystery box NFT. I thought it'd be cool to open it on the stream. I don't know what exactly I'm hoping for. Obviously, there's levels of value out there. So any of you guys privy to the marketplace on the DraftKings NFT marketplace? I bought one of those Derek Jeter mystery boxes, and I'm not sure what all comes in it. But I guess it would be fun as a chat to open it up just to see if anything good comes in it. So we'll do that. You guys want to do that? I think we could. I think it'd be fun. I own one NFT. So I was all about the Top Shot life, right? And by all about, I knew it was quick money, and I went and got that quick money. I turned $15 initial investment to like $3K and got out. I left more on the table by not selling earlier, but what are you going to do? What up, Ben P? When's Luke do another Jock Market video? I'll get with Luke. So Jock Market content is not picking up the traction we were hoping for, and it's not an us problem. It's everywhere. Anyone out there putting out Jock Market. So I'll get with him. I don't want to keep asking him to do videos that get 50 views. You know what I mean? We're putting out these new PrizePicks shows, and they're half a thousand views in 2 hours. I just don't want it to. I want it to be worth his time, right? So I'll ask him. I mean, if you are Jock Market grinders, he's really good at it. But it definitely, everything we do has to have some type of reward, some type of benefit. And yeah, we do have an affiliate deal with Jock Market, but man, that content was not getting much traction. So I was trying to make better use out of Luke's talent. Luke is very talented, very sharp, and he's worth more than 50 clicks. And it is what it is, man. Jock Market is still app only, so we'll have more strategic conversations about that type of content coming soon. What up, Ocean? Place So Icy by Jeezy and Gucci. I can't. 9700 when DK Marketplace went live. Dang, is that the Monkey Cigar thing? That I guess I know what you're talking about, Nate. But yeah, there's a lot of different NFTs out there. PrizePicks, yeah, PrizePicks has been really solid and really profitable from the back end too. A little bit less of a grind. Anyway, I don't know. Let's open up a NFT, y'all. Let's do this. So I bought this $60 Derek Jeter mystery container. I'm not actually sure what could possibly be in it, but when I look at the marketplace for anything that's Derek Jeter and apply it, I don't know if like these are things that could be in this. There's a Derek Jeter Ruby Hall of Fame baseball worth 2,400. I don't think these would be in it. I honestly don't know. But obviously something here would be in it. So we're hoping to make $60 to break even or profit. It's probably gonna be more or less like stuff like this. So yeah, I don't know. Let's click a few buttons here and see what might open up out of it. What up, Lorenza? Cade kept me from cleaning up on PrizePicks last night. Dude, I had a couple of 4-pick cards with Robert Williams, over 30 fantasy points, and he didn't play, so a lot of those became 3 picks that I swept, and it's just like left a couple $100, right? All right, let's click this. Let's see what happens when we click on the things. All right, so it says Derek Jeter miscontainers official, blah 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 blah. Captain collection. It can be opened at the discretion of the holder. Reveal the collectible inside the container starting on the reveal date, which, yeah, is now. So I want to know what could be in it. What are we hoping for? So the revealed collectibles will be one of the 25 potential collectibles within the Captain collection per. So I guess it would be any of this. So I guess technically we could get a $2,400 Ruby Hall of Fame baseball, right? That's what we're hoping for. That's the most lucrative thing. So we could make some money here. So $60 is the investment. Looks like the most likely outcome is we lose $20. But I don't know. Let's go for the gold here. All right, let's open up pack. Derek Jeter, by the way, one of my favorite all-time players. Confirm. We got a Platinum Hall of Fame helmet, number 505. All right, so Platinum Hall of Fame helmet is currently going for $29. So we lost $30 on that one, but that was fun. It would have been really nice to get something better. All right, well, that was the Derek Jeter portion, NFT portion of this show. We will now move on to breaking down this 3-game NBA slate on DraftKings, Fanduel, and Prize Picks. If you guys didn't catch it, I just did a Prize Picks show on this channel about an hour ago with Josh. Talked over some of the better picks on the slate. So be sure to catch that. If not, just drop a like on it and show some love, man. Show some love. Stream brought to you by RunDFS.com. Help me fund my NFT newfound habit. By going to RunDFS.com, get yourself a membership. We got week passes, 2-week passes, month passes, and the All-Star Pass, which is up. We got a couple left of those. $329 gets you locked in until July 20th, the projected day of the MLB All-Star Game. Hopefully, and then that'll get you covered. Just one size fits all. I don't sell sports individually. I professionally cover NBA, NFL, MLB. We've added to the team. We've added more and more levels of content. Obviously, PrizePicks becoming an area of interest, an area of opportunity to serve more content in, but also golf grinders in the Discord, NASCAR grinders in the Discord. We're gonna try and create ourselves a powerhouse community. So I definitely recommend and encourage you guys to be part of that. Go to RunDFS.com, get yourself a membership. Well, we all just took some Derek Jeter L's, right? That'd be lit if you hit big on the live stream. That would have been fun, Quinn. What are you gonna do? What a terrible investment. It'd be like that. How many Knicks are too many? Pelicans, no defense, even worse on the road. Yeah, I definitely think the Knicks are very viable to get to on a short slate. A lot of predictive value in their minutes, too. Quick, someone draw some digital police to go help Gunn get his money back. Hey, I don't mind it. So like, well, baseball cards, right? I'll still buy baseball cards. I got a closet full of baseball cards. More often than not, you're losing money on baseball card investments, right? You're just paying for the what ifs, and I think that's like the fun in those type of NFTs, those type of the pack drops like Top Shot. I don't really like. I don't buy NFTs of like art that I know. You know what I mean? Like I like the stimulated the what if. The same with like MLB the Show, Madden, whatever. You buy those packs, you just don't know what's in it. It's fun to open them. Um, what do we need to do now? Oh, we need to look at some news. 3 p.m. Eastern news to watch. Domantas Sabonis to be determined. Last night they said his ankle injury was expected to be significant, so I'm going to lean closer to doubtful than in. And Devontae Graham questionable. Those are the two bits and pieces that we're dealing with today. First game on tonight's docket. It's a late lock, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and JaVale McGee taking on Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Kristaps Porzingis, Maxi Kleber, Mavericks night 2 of a back-to-back. Third game in 4 nights. Suns without DeAndre Ayton, walking into battle with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and then JaVale McGee in the front court. In the most recent game, he was backed up by Bismack Biyombo, and to the chagrin of some, including myself, Jalen Smith was not part of the rotation. He closed the game out in pure garbage time, but essentially 0 minutes played when it mattered. So it looks like we should infer that Bismack Biyombo is the immediate handcuff and backup to JaVale McGee, and that Jalen Smith, as long as Cameron Johnson is in, probably doesn't become involved in the rotation anytime soon. I thought that he could at least get some backup power forward, backup center minutes. DFS being DFS, watch tonight. He go out there and get 25 minutes. But because of that, this is a guy I actually leaned on for some value last slate. I'm probably not going to go there today. And then Biyombo got himself 24 minutes, while McGee got him 23 minutes. So those are the two that I would be considering into the front court for the Suns today. Overall, the Dallas Mavericks have been a really, really good defense, holding opposing teams under 50% shooting since like December. Really strong defense. So it's not a whole lot to be enamored with from the eyes of a regular slate. But on a shortened, condensed slate, we know a couple things. One, we know Devin Booker will lead the team in usage. Ran this query earlier on the PrizePicks stream. We've done it a few times on the DFS stream in the last week or two. Devin Booker leads the team in usage and fantasy points per minute in the split with him and Chris Paul on and DeAndre Ayton off. Maybe that's the Devin Booker train. I don't know. But with Ayton off the court, with Paul and Booker on, Devin Booker holds himself a 32.5% usage rate and 1.3 fantasy points per minute. A lot of his production is going to be scoring real points, right? So if you believe in the Mavs defensively, holding opposing shooters to bad days or tough days, Devin Booker might be somebody you're a little bit more skittish on. I know he's going to draw a lot of ownership at this price point on a 3-game slate, and I'm not anti-targeting the usage. That's what I did for this Spurs game because Derek White had some pretty solid individual defensive metrics in his own right. And then, sometimes usage just trumps matchup. If a guy's going to get close to 30 shots and hold that type of usage, going to take some stances here and get some exposure to him. But I understand why there could be some pushback. 30 plus real points in 3 straight games. No doubt about Devin Booker being a strong play pre-flop just based on usage and volume of shots here. But if you think that his ownership versus the matchup difficulty might hold him to mid-30s, which is still potentially live on a 3-game slate like this, maybe you look the other way. And then the other way for me is going to be a guy like Chris Paul. I like the thought of Chris Paul picking up a little bit of slack in tougher defensive matchups where he's got to be smart, right? He's got to use that court IQ and develop plays. And I think in this spot, I do like Chris Paul. I like them a little bit more on PrizePicks. I thought they had some pretty decently low lines for him. I think I took his PRA on the stream. But he's another guy that's likely going to be a walking double-double, 40-plus fantasy points, very viable, 10-plus assists, and a couple of points above 10 as well. So Chris Paul, Devin Booker, probably going to be a lot of lineups representing that handcuff. And on DraftKings, it's awfully cheap, right? 80 points combined fantasy-wise for this price tag on a 3-game slate, considering what's on the docket for this slate, is very, very viable. Front court-wise, Javal McGee at 4K definitely has a chip in a chair for 20 to 30 fantasy points. I got him at 23 minutes right now. That's bringing me back a 30 fantasy point projection essentially on both sites. We know he's a big block-centric guy. The Mavericks don't really give up a lot of blocks per game, but Javal McGee's a different breed. Not great in terms of overall defense, but he's a good rim protector. So I'll throw him in the mix here. Like I said, my only pushback today is I'm not going to get to Jalen Smith. I'm probably just going to wedge exposure between McGee and Biyombo. Maybe I allow a little bit of overlap, but probably none. Jay Crowder's 4,400. A couple of strong games from him lately. But as I mentioned in that last Sun slate, there was a stretch of games without Cameron Johnson, and with Cameron Johnson being back in the mix, we don't expect a lot of 35-plus minute games, probably closer to 28, with Cameron Smith kind of divvying up the difference. On the Mavericks side, if you can put aside any type of pessimism or concerns about the Mavericks being on a back-to-back, they are at home. They do have a plus matchup in terms of pace. The Suns have been playing pace-up basketball on the season, although lately they're starting to regress in terms of seasonal metrics. But Luka Doncic is Luka Doncic, and him getting Porzingis back to steady Eddie the front court, and he's just kind of clicked in as of late. 20 plus real points in every one of his last 10 11 games. Hasn't missed 20 real points really as far as the eye can see, so it's giving you a pretty strong point floor with plenty of peripheral potential to boot. Last night, 14 rebounds, 7 assists. He's playing Luka Doncic basketball, right? This is what we expect out of him. So if you think his floor to ceiling ratio, that risk reward is there, which we all got to think it is, for him to pay off 10.4, 10.9. Can't really think of value at that price point, especially on a shorter slate. Kind of weight floor a little bit more. If you think he has a real chance to be in a top 2, top 3 fantasy scorer on the slate, and I currently do, I haven't projected as the highest fantasy scorer on the slate. I think you have to get some of him just because raw points, that dog will hunt, right? Especially considering the night game being a double-digit point spread. Other 10K players on the slate don't necessarily have that same baked-in potential floor upside. So give me some Luka. I was a little bit worried about Kristaps Porzingis being night 2 of a back-to-back. He does have a couple of back-to-backs to his belt this season. 33 minutes last night against Toronto, this being 3rd and 4. It wouldn't stun me if we got some late news that Porzingis was going to be watched tonight or something like that, but that's all just hearsay and speculation, and I want to be a little bit more responsible rather than just, calling him a potential scratch this far out. So keep an eye on Porzingis' status just generally, though. His last back-to-back was in early December. He played on December 12th and on the 13th. But just saying, Porzingis has been a guy historically that we've linked to some rest opportunity. If he does play 7,600, plenty of meat on the bone at that price point to get him to near 40 fantasy points. So I don't mind putting him in the mix on either site, but 7,600 leaves me a little bit more wiggle room. 8,500 on Fanduel is just fine as well. What do you guys got on this one? Anything sticking out to you guys? I thought DFS might be somebody we put in the mix just because he plays minutes. But he's essentially the same price as McCall Bridges, so I might lean McCall in that split. But a couple of these guys we just chip in a chair just because they're going to play deep minutes, right? Man, message deleted. What happened? We got Hater in the house? What a terrible investment. What were you thinking? Oh, this guy is weird. Terrible investment. Appreciate the view, Jackie. Now get him out of here. Willie Lewis. What up? What up, Willie? What else we got? Taylor. What up, Taylor? Turned 20 to 300 last night on DK same game parlay for the Lakers game. Compared Osmo and PrizePicks numbers to create my picks. Found it very helpful. Dude, Osmo, Alex has a site called Odds Shopper. Definitely recommend you guys, if you want to use that to complement your prop hunting game, I think it's a really strong site. So check that out. I've seen a lot of people show some success with his parlay creator on that site. It's awesome. It's free. Why not use it? What up, Arizona Drama? How did I do yesterday? I did really good. I did really great on PrizePicks, especially. And I think that's kind of the wave that we've been discovering is like the bigger the slate, more chaotic and more nightmare fuel it is for these DFS games or these DFS slates, because you got to deal with price points, salary points, all that stuff. But when you can play like prize picks or just prop bet as sportsbook betting becomes legal in more and more states. I think Washington's opening up. We just got New York. Prop betting is picking up a lot of steam. And that's why you see me. I'm getting with the times, man. The YouTube market for prop betting content is really, really, really hotbedding right now. So the bigger slates might be more of a prop bet night, and you can kind of get some of that tournament upside in those player prop parlays. I do think if you have access to a sports book, prop bet parlaying on the sports book is probably going to get you more money than prize books will. But yeah, I'm really liking big slates for prop hunting. Ben P, only for packs and boxes. If you know what you're doing, where you can flip singles for a lot of profit. Oh, for baseball, maybe. Maybe I'm weird, but I like opening baseball cards and I just appreciating, like, I don't know. I just like think about moments of each player, like highlights and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm a little bit old. I don't know. I'm just boring, I guess. I don't really care, but I don't think I would really get into the grind of trying to flip card collectibles. I really just appreciate them and just kind of go through memory lane. What's up, Crispy? Could have used that 90 bomb last night from Joker. Man, that was huge. We had some people sweating his rebound prop as well. Dude, you're not rich. Okay, stop hyping yourself up. My man got into a rough day, I guess. Shout out to Jackie. Hope your day gets better, my dude. But it won't be here. He got the whip. Jackie better bounce before I tell. Yeah, I don't know what's got into him. What up, Team Underground? Hope you're doing all right. J. Cole, Jermaine Cole. Prop betting not in MS. Is that that's Missouri, huh? No, is it Mississippi? Missouri? What is MS? What up, Bernard? Only 3 games. Yeah, I like that. What up, Encore? I like Biombo, though, at 9% ownership. Yeah, I think I drive a wedge between Biombo and Javon McGee right down the middle. Projection obviously favors Javon McGee for me right now, but if Biombo is going to be the immediate backup and play similar minutes, like there's a real chance that Biombo and McGee play the same amount of minutes. So if Biombo's minutes are going to be more against, like, I don't know, Marquise Chris and Dwight Powell, while Javon McGee's getting Kleber and Porzingis, you can make a case that Biombo's minutes are more lucrative, So I don't mind that at all, especially if he's coming in at a fraction of the ownership. So I like that. Why I only keep reading half my chats is because the other half of your chats are usually pretty off of cliff levels of bad, right? Anyway, next game on the docket, also at lock. We got 2 games right at lock. Knicks hosting the Pelicans. Project starting 5 for the Pelicans: Devontae Graham, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, Herbert Jones, and Jonas Valanciunas, taking on Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. A 209.5 total, 4-point spread in favor of the home team, New York Knicks. Devontae Graham is questionable, dealing with an ankle. We will have the benefit of 2 games at lock is we'll have that information likely in time to make some informed decisions. But from this far out, with this spread being what it is, I think this game is probably the most attackable game, the most stackable game on both sides. Even though it's a meager total, we get a little less pushback in terms of pricing from perhaps the upside guys, right? We got Luka in the other game where you're worried about, the back-to-back, the 3 and 4, both teams really being okay on defense. Well, this game's kind of a compromise. While the Knicks run a low pace and okay defense, the Pelicans are not a good defense, also a low pace, but the spread has given us hope that we get ourselves an attackable game stack where everyone's pretty viable at their price point, right? We don't really break the bank anywhere. Kemba Walker did return to this lineup for the Knicks in that last game. He saw decent minutes, and really all it did was kick Alec Burks back to the second unit. We had one of those spike Evan Fournier games, but in terms of just minutes and expectations for the Knicks, we know RJ Barrett and Julius Randle will likely lead the lot of them. Barrett 37 minutes, Randle 38 minutes. Something that happened in that game was Mitchell Robinson fouled out in 20 minutes, so you might extend his minute projection a couple more minutes, and maybe get less Randle at the 5, and maybe a little less minutes for Taj Gibson, who also fouled out in 24 minutes, right? But ultimately speaking, I think Randle's going to be a guy that we got projected to lead the team in minutes here. And if you're going to lead the team in minutes, potentially lead the slate in regulation minutes against a bottom 4 defense, I think Julius Randle has to be a staple in a lot of cash game consideration lineups. The Pelicans are bottom 7 in terms of defensive rating. So I'm pretty bullish on Randle in this spot. He's wasn't that long ago he was pushing 10K, so give me Randle, and then give me a shot at Mitchell Robinson again, with the hope that maybe the plan was for him to play more than 20 minutes if he would stay out of foul trouble. One of those games where if he can get to 25, 26 minutes, we know he can be a point per minute guy and maybe contribute from that price point. But early on, I like RJ Barrett, Julius Randle here, and then Kemba Walker being in this starting lineup. We've seen him essentially contribute 30 fantasy points just about any time he starts. Now, his minutes weren't at the near 40 like they were on the big Christmas slate where he's flirting with triple doubles, and they had no backup guards. Probably expected a more modest, closer to 30 than 40 projection, right? We're on a 3-game slate against the Pelicans. That 30 minutes will definitely be in play for me, and I'd hate to get to Evan Fournier at an above often clip here, but the shot volume should be double digits and the matchup should be all right. So I definitely am going to diversify some Knicks exposure throughout lineups tonight. Might drive a wedge, might say cap, no more than 3 Knicks in a lineup. Although I think this slate being funky enough, it wouldn't stun me if we got to 4 Knicks as plays that can contribute. On the Pelican side, if Devontae Graham does play, he does have a couple of fun moments in Madison Square Garden, a couple buzzer beaters. I got him closing in on nearly 30 fantasy points. Again, on this slate, we got to be a little bit more accepting of a median projection or even a floor projection versus a slate like last night where we said you're gonna have to get ceiling games to make any noise. Smaller slate here, but one game being a double-digit spread, you're gonna get some funkier scores that make it to the top. So if Devontae did play, I wouldn't mind a sprinkle in him, but the bulk of my interest is going to be on Brandon Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, and Josh Hart. We'll start with Brandon Ingram. No matter what, at 8K, I think Ingram has a shot to lead the team in minutes and usage. Let's go home.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go home. Let's go home. Let's go home.
Join Run DFS. Alone you are but a piece. Together with us and you are but whole.
Did you just think of that? I wonder if you I don't know, Dameron's sitting in the porcelain throne with like a notepad, just like, oh, I gotta write that down. That one's good. Like, you just have a list of stuff that can make the text to speech say some dirty things. Either way, I respect it. But I just wonder if you just thought of that, or if you had that one chilling, right? Willie McGuire, do we like Brandon Ingram tonight? Yeah, I was getting to some Ingram. In fact, basically, I like stacking this game, just hoping for some competitive basketball down the stretch. I think the price points everywhere allows that to happen. But Ingram would be kind of the biggest beneficiary of one Devontae Graham being out. But no matter what, just Ingram's a strong look. Looking at the on-off court tool, ran this query earlier, and I also took Ingram over 5 assists just in case Devontae's out, and I still think he can push that because he's been kind of clearing 5 or better consistently in his last 10. If the game stays competitive, which it should, I'm interested. Yo, C Chav, appreciate that follow, my dude. Welcome to the channel. So let's just run a what if Devontae Graham didn't play today, and let's put Brandon Ingram on the court. Let's put Jonas Valanciunas on the court. Make AI say dirty stuff. It's such a great business model, isn't it? Guys, I'll make you this robot can say dirty things for $1. if DFS content ever goes down, just know I'll be live streaming with the opportunity to make a robot say dirty things. Who needs Siri, right? Siri, play Despacito. Brandon Ingram has a 28.7% usage rate in the split without Devontae. Jonas Valanciunas has a 27.5% usage rate. So those two really do a lot together. And then the assist rate, 28% for Ingram, 20% for Josh Hart. So all these guys feel like they can be positively correlated. JVL averaging over a fantasy point per minute. So I don't mind getting to those three if we get no Devontae Graham. Makes a whole lot of sense. Herbert Jones at 4,400. He kind of fits that McCall Bridges, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jay Crowder. You know, there's a lot of 4K to 5K guys on DraftKings that we know will likely get a shot at 30 plus minutes, but we know their volatility is very, very wide. But a guy like Herbert Jones, if he's gonna, get an opportunity at those minutes and he's gonna fit the mold of a game that we're gonna attack together, I'm fine with getting to him. 23, 32, 16, right? They're all very, very similar ranges of outcomes. So you're going to need a little bit of luck to get the right one. But I think, one of those guys is going to have to fill a role in terms of a lineup construction on the main slate. So give me a little bit of him. If Devontae does play, I'll take a little bit. But early on, if Devontae sits, Ingram, Hart, and JVal, I can triple stack those guys and feel pretty confident. If Devontae didn't play, NAW will likely get a boost in minutes. I got him at 20 minutes right now, which is still giving me a shot at 20 fantasy points. Missing the mark on both sides, but if I'm able to move that 20 closer to 30, we've seen NAW break a slate or two in his time. So I wouldn't mind getting some Nickeil Alexander-Walker as somebody that is probably too cheap if that opportunity is going to be before him. Essentially can give you a decent puncher's chance at a point per minute production. So plenty to like here. Hopefully we get that information with decent time before the main slate locks. But again, late lock for those of you guys that didn't catch that, and 2 games at lock. So should be pretty easy to manage. And then we sit around for 2.5 hours waiting for the main event, which we will talk about. Before we do that, take a pause for the cause. Let you guys know that after this stream, I'll be in the rundfs.com Discord, hanging out in the voice chat. If you guys want to be part of that, get a membership at rundfs.com. Click VIP portal, click the Discord link, and then get into the chat right here. And then also, hopefully tonight, hopefully, I'm going to get with Luke. We might do an NFL stream a little after main slate lock just to get it out the way. We did it on Friday last week, but just thinking about what's before us, a 3-game, very manageable slate tonight where our plate's a little light. Tomorrow is going to be a lot more chaos, you know what I mean? So maybe we'll get that going tonight, and then we can, chop up as needed for the weekend content. So look out for that. Let me get caught up on you guys. Fake dual lock, Doncic, Randall. Yeah, it's going to be really easy to play Doncic on Fanduel, especially. And that's, a great example of what I mean by you just take the floor sometimes. You overpay for the floor on smaller slates and you're still live. So, and you guys will also hear me say sell out for sailing on the bigger slates, right? Getting a lot of Kemba in crunches. I think that's pretty fair. I got him at, 27, 29, almost 30 fantasy points. And I only got him at 27 minutes right now. And I think 30 is a little bit more fair. What I think is really interesting is Mitchell Robinson and Taj Gibson, right? Both these guys fouling out in near 20 minutes is seems a little extreme, and I wonder if there's a outcome where I get a little bit more Mitchell Robinson. Mr. Baseballer 85, man, welcome to the channel. Appreciate that sub, bro. You guys are killing the subs. Yesterday we hit 5,900 subs. Right now we're at 5,920. Like I thought there's a chance, like a low chance, we can get to 6K subs by February 1st, which would give us, 10, 11 days? But man, if we hit 20 subs a day, we might hit that really quick. So I can't tell you how appreciative I am of everyone out there hitting that sub button, showing some love for the content in the channel. Any concern with J-Val versus Knicks? New York is best versus opposing centers. Not sure if I missed Indiana chat, but could use some help there. We're gonna hit that one next. I get what you're saying. The Knicks do have a really strong number in terms of fantasy points allowed to opposing centers. Sometimes you just gotta appreciate usage over matchup when it comes to these short slates. Devin Booker's a great example of that. But definitely some concern, right? The concern would be is J-Val just going to get me 35 fantasy points tonight, and is that going to kill a center spot? And I think that's a real concern, especially that center might give us a little bit of value. I'm not sure if the Brissett, let me see if Brissett and Indiana, excuse me. Brissett is center eligible, Batazi. So I think a lot of people might lean on some of this perceived Indiana value, expecting Sabonis to be out, Turner down. So that would be twofold concern on J-Val, right? If J-Val just hit 30s, even if he got to 40, it might make Randall lineups at the forward spot and punts at the center spot be a little bit more lucrative if Luka gets there or Devin Booker gets there. So yes, there is some concern, but also J-Val is not your atypical center that is completely reliant on points in the paint. The Knicks are really strong at preventing points in the paint. Matter of fact, they might be the best in the league. Let me double check that. Knicks are allowing the second fewest points in the paint per game to opposing centers. So we have seen J-Val pull up from downtown, though. 3-pointers allowed per game. The Knicks allow the most to opposing centers. So that's where maybe he can offset some of that difficulty. Maybe he can draw a couple fouls. We saw Mitchell Robinson, Taj Gibson get into foul trouble. Hasn't been a big free throw guy, but six of his 17 shots against Boston were threes. He'll chuck some threes. So maybe he can stretch out just a little bit more. Last game against the Knicks, 51 fantasy points, and he was only 1 for 3 from beyond the arc. A lot of that stuff came via rebounds and a couple of points in the paint. So I don't have a lot of concerns. Sometimes I'll just let usage do the driving for me on a short slate. But there's definitely some cause for pushback, especially if his ownership projection got to a little bit uncomfortable high levels. But I think I would expect Randall to carry higher ownership right now. Yeah. What percentage you get on the Kemba Curse? I'm a Raps Day winner, so I love what J-Val's doing these days. Yeah, J-Val getting minutes, definitely something that for a long time a lot of us that have been watching J-Val have been excited for. And I'm with you. The Raptors always seem to have some high motor big that they don't ever really unleash, right? Chris Boucher the last couple of seasons, and it was frustrating to see J-Val, play 18 to 24 minutes for the Raptors, and he was just like dropping 30s and 40s, and you were just like, man, he can break some slates if they pull the chain off of him. Everyone hates Chris. What up, bro? What's up, Jeremy Lamb or Alvarado if Graham sits? Jose Alvarado. Would probably be the guy that's involved in more of a competitive game. I think him and NAW, it wouldn't stun me if NAW started either, but Alvarado has been part of rotation as well. Let me see if I can get a hint on I think they're both in play. It might be just like the McGee-Biyombo situation where I drive a wedge between them, but I'd probably lean them just to be more be part of a more competitive game. Alvarado. Like a rock. Yeah, him and NAW play alongside each other too, so might stagger our expectations there. And I just might drive a wedge. Do you fade Randall on DK, liking Luka and LeVert better? Let's see. Randall on DK, I got him for 46 fantasy points, so just pushing back a little bit. LeVert definitely could have. LeVert should have a lot of usage and responsibility on him, but the pressure and the likeliness of that game staying close is lower, right? We expect that game to maybe be a little bit more favorable for the Warriors, and while Randall might be a slow burn, he's a burn nonetheless, and he has a much better shot at like 38 to 40 minutes than maybe LeVert does in the split. But I guess in tournaments on a smaller slate where uniqueness is really, really valuable in terms of versus the field, right? Last night, we didn't really have to worry about uniqueness too much because ownership was pretty diluted. On a slate like this, I think a lot of lineups look very similar because of, just how logical getting to this guy because this minute projection, this price, whatever. I think on a slate like this, I might cop out and just say I go the opposite way of the field. And I haven't put a pulse on the ownership projections yet, but is Karis LeVert projecting as a high-owned guy? I would assume so. I think a lot of people expect Sabonis to be out. I talked about Brogdon and his Achilles on a back-to-back, first game back. Like I could see some rest in his future. Again, it's pure speculation, just like the Porzingis back-to-back. But it seems like it wouldn't be crazy if Brogdon sat this one out as soon as we got some Sabonis news, right? And I think that news would come out together. And I think that would be where people react like, oh, Brogdon's out too? Well, let me get Lance Stevenson. Let me get Karis LeVert. You know what I mean? So I could see LeVert grabbing that ownership, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but at 8K in a lopsided game, it could certainly be spoiled by a similarly priced Randall or somebody like that can beat him by 5 to 8 points, which might be more than enough to be the difference between first place and 15th place. Well, Luka's Luka. Brogdon Sitter limited on a back-to-back, says Sleepy Joe. That's kind of like, that's what I was thinking. It's very possible. Anyway, main event, Pacers, Malcolm Brogdon, Karis LeVert, Justin Holiday, Torrey Craig, Goga Bitadze taking on Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, and Kevin Looney. 218 total, 11.5 points spread in favor of the Golden State Warriors. Last night, Sabonis hurt his ankle after the game. Was it Carlisle? Carlisle said that he expected that injury to be significant. And once I heard that, I was like, okay, so he's not playing tomorrow, right? It's not nothing, especially with the Pacers being in a situation where they're shopping everybody. Like, there's really no incentive to push some of these guys past their limits, and it really doesn't help them for Sabonis to play the next night. And when coaches say something like that, I expect guys to be out for weeks when they say they expect it to be significant. So look out for that. With that said, I also wouldn't be stunned, like I said, if Brogdon didn't play tonight. Last night was his first game back from an Achilles injury, and this being a back-to-back in an uphill battle with the odds stacked against you, there's no incentive to push him out there. So if we got that news at the same time, which I think is possible, we might expect a lineup that features Karis LeVert as the primary ball handler and guessing the front court. And the reason I would say guessing the front court is because normally we would immediately go to Bitadze and Oshae Brissett. But Golden State has a propensity and a knack for forcing other teams to play small. So you might just see a full onslaught of shooters out there for the Pacers, right? Lance Stevenson, Jeremy Lamb, Chris Duarte, guys like that. So it's going to be kind of hard to read. I think a lot of projections are going to like to put Bitadze and Brissett as two guys that should play 20 to 30 minutes because of no Turner, because of no Sabonis. And I don't disagree with that sentiment at all. I just also could see teams or the Pacers in this spot leaning on Torrey Craig to stretch out a little bit more, Jeremy Lamb, guys like that. So it becomes a pretty volatile situation pre-flop, but I would like to have the Brogdon and Sabonis news. And I can't say this enough that like Brogdon's not questionable. There was no tag on him. I'm just kind of speculating and sharing that I have some concerns because of the situation. Sabonis is the guy that I'm fully expecting to be doubtful. On the Warriors side, we have a little bit more predictive value of what we might expect from them. First of all, Klay Thompson is somebody that my boy Josh pointed out. It seems no matter what the game script is for the Warriors, Klay Thompson is on a diet to get conditioning where it needs to be, right? If you look at this last game where, I guess that's not fair because that game was a little bit closer. Let's go see. Where's T-Wolves? Warriors and Bulls. Here's one. Oh, he didn't play that one, did he? Basically, what I'm trying to get at here and put an aesthetic to is that no matter what, you expect Klay Thompson to play his 22 minutes just because they're trying to get him ramped up. And we also seen that in the past where he'll stagger the second unit, sometimes be a primary ball handler opposite Steph Curry when they were at their prime. So I'm not worried about the scoreboard here because I just know that his minute projection is going to be pretty in line with what I expect here. 22, 23, 21, 20, 20, right? I don't expect less than 20. I don't expect like more than 24. But I no matter what the scoreboard is, I think he's going to get those minutes just because that's the plan. And I like his numbers on PrizePicks. We discussed a couple of PrizePicks plays earlier that featured Klay Thompson. And Thompson has a number 2.5 threes. I took some action on the over 2.5 threes. So I don't know if you guys had already looked at some PrizePicks plays, but that's one that I thought was pretty soft. And also 14.5 points felt interesting. But I also feel like if he gets 15, 16 points, he's gonna have a couple of threes to boot. And he hasn't hit the under on 2.5 in his last 2 games, and he's hit it in 3 of his 5 games so far. And also just like the buzz, the home crowd adrenaline, so I can get behind some Thompson here. Everyone else in this front court for the Warriors is still in play. Kevin Looney has been a revelation in the absence of Draymond Green for me in terms of rebounds. I've been taking a couple shots on his overs on PrizePicks. They've been putting him at like 7.5, 8, and he's hit that in 3 straight games. So I might get back on some Looney exposure today. He's not doing much offensively, but the peripherals are there. And then Jonathan Kuminga has been trying to fill in Draymond's role. 25, 33, 26 minutes his last 3 games. Tonight, there is no Otto Porter with Draymond Green being out. So we might feel a little bit better about 25, 26 minutes as a floor for Kuminga today with guys like Nemanja Bjelica, Juan Toscano Anderson kind of filling in behind him. Iguodala also in the mix. They do play tomorrow. I think I said they play the Bulls tomorrow, NBA schedule. And typically we've seen them stagger Otto Porter on back-to-backs, although he did play the last one. So I don't know if they want to maybe stagger like an Iguodala if they can help it. Tomorrow they play the Rockets. Rockets coming off a win against the Utah Jazz. So you can give me some Kuminga, Kevin Looney, just a little bit. I think at these price points, we're going to see more ownership on maybe a Bataze and Oshae Brissett. Brissett feels a little bit more fun for me considering this matchup. But your guess is as good as mine from this far out. What we might truly get behind. Brissett has some 3-point shooting propensity in his back pocket, and I think that that might bode well for this particular matchup. Steph Curry versus Klay Thompson. I think Steph Curry at his price point, you kind of compare him immediately to a Luka Doncic at $100 less. Curry's floor has definitely been way worse than Luka Doncic, and considering the lopsided spread, all that good stuff, it's easy for Luka Doncic to win this tiebreaker. Maybe in tournaments, that's where his viability or his lucrativity as a pivot from Luka Doncic becomes fun for tournaments, right? 62 fantasy points against the Memphis Grizzlies, but that's a game that was competitive. They actually played from behind. Very rarely do you see Steph consistently give you a shot at 40-50, and I think that's the plus side on Luka. But like I said, that's the knee-jerk reaction. You don't need me to come to that realization. So I would assume Steph Curry is going to come in much lower owned than Luka based on their price points being so similar. And if you're just trying to build different and understand that it's a high risk move, but it could pay off, right? How often does Steph Curry outscore Luka? Well, it's not 0. So what is it? Is it 10%, 15, 20%, whatever you think it is? Maybe put that type of ownership on Steph Curry versus your Luka exposure, right? Klay Thompson feels more like a PrizePicks play for me today than a DFS play. Everyone else on the Warriors becomes volatile based on your game script and your game theory. I would say maybe keep an eye on the scoreboard on this one. If you are on PrizePicks, they have been offering first half, second half lines to take a shot on. Maybe if the game got lopsided, you take a couple of unders on the like a Steph Curry side and a couple of unders on the true starters and who might get benched in a lopsided game. Guys like Andrew Wiggins, right? If a game gets lopsided, you expect maybe Gary Payton, Damian Lee, Beasley, those type of cats to get a little bit more extra run and maybe play the whole fourth quarter. So PrizePicks might let you get some free unders if you're paying attention. What else we got in chat before we move on? EB says, yo, Gun. So Indiana, Dallas, Knicks are all in pace up games. Like in context of the slate, yeah, but not really. So just thinking about what's on the slate today, the Knicks and Dallas Mavericks played the slowest paces, the slowest pace in basketball, right? And those two teams have their own games, right? So they're gonna bring down their opponents. The Pelicans are below average in pace, so ultimately that's going to be a pace down game. The Indiana Pacers, ironically, have a below average pace, and they're without a lot of their key starters. So naturally, it's going to bring backwards Golden State. The Golden State's just their own beast. They kind of do whatever they want. Team with the lead, I always say, dictates the pace. And then the Pelicans, right? Pelicans are a little bit they're below league average. So I don't think in context of the full league, we don't really have any pace up spots. It's just what game is slower paced than the rest. Every game total on this slate is under 220, right? We usually don't get that day to day. So I wouldn't scratch my head too much about pace today because none of these games will probably be anything staggering pace-wise. It's really coming down to what games are going to be competitive and who has minutes that we can latch on to. And I do think we got a decent predictive value in minutes for some high-usage guys. Like, we know Devin Booker in a competitive game could play 35-plus minutes with 32% usage. Luka Doncic, same thing. The Knicks, Julius Randle, J-Val, Brandon Ingram. So that's kind of where we're leaning. And I think to really tack on what I've been saying, these short slates, we really got to value floor a little bit differently than we do on a main slate. Like last night, you just knew you're going to have to be borderline perfect at every position, and guys are going to have to go 8, 9, 10x what their asking price is. Today's a little bit different where you could see 340, 330 kind of get you to the dance because of just how yucky it is and how that last game could really just be half a game. So no peso spot. What up, Alan Isley? I'm trying to see. The credit love debate before. What am I? Brogdon said, yeah, I don't know about Brogdon. So this guy in Osmo, I like what he said. I appreciate that. Speaking of Osmo, I should be Saturday morning. Me and EMAC will look at the Saturday slate. So if you're looking for me on Osmo, Saturday's the next scheduled stream. Is there too much negative correlation to Rungoga and Brissett in the same lineup? I think that fully comes down to if they both start or not. Right now, I don't think they do. They could, and if they're not going to start, I think the negative correlation would only would only come into play if they started together at bad prices. I think they're both cheap enough that even if they started together, they're probably not off the table. But if they just staggered minutes, kind of like Bismack Biyombo and JaVale McGee, I don't think I would worry too much about it. And you're probably not going to get a whole lot of overlap anyway. Brissett's center eligible and Bataze center only. So I don't think it's too much negative correlation. Who's your favorite play on the slate? From this far out, I'm probably going to lean on Julius Randle quite a bit. I want Devin Booker feels like one of the most obvious clicks, right? 32% usage rate, high minutes, no DeAndre Ayton. I just can't shake this Dallas defense has been so good and they're holding shooters to bad days. But man, Devin Booker usage might trump matchup at that price point. I just think that's a little too cheap. But probably Julius Randle and maybe Brandon Ingram are the two guys I'm leaning on the most. from this far out. And then Chris Paul, I like quite a bit. Kind of parlaying my tough defense thoughts for Devin Booker. I know Chris Paul has a knack for just taking over games that are a little bit tougher defensively, and that's where you see his basketball IQ shine. He starts creating more plays, and really one of the best, not only playmakers, but he could execute plays that they draw up at a really really high level. So Chris Paul, I tend to lean him in tougher perceptual matchups. So Chris Paul, Ingram, Julius Randle, and then I think no matter what, I'm not going to be able to get away from Devin Booker. Like, even if he dropped 38, 36, and that feels like bad game territory, that still might be live at 8,300 on this slate, just because of how awkward the slate's going to price out, right? So, yeah, those are probably the guys that are keying in for me. In terms of value, I got Isaiah Jackson, who is a power forward for the Pacers. I think a lot of us are looking right at Brissett and Bataze. Like I mentioned, you might be more. It might be more of a stretch 4, stretch 5 type of game. Isaiah Jackson might fit the bill on somebody that could kind of surprise people and maybe go a little bit lower owned than some of those counterparts. Let me look at last night. Did Isaiah have any front end involvement? He had 9 minutes, and Sabonis represents so many minutes that I think they divvy up. So I got him projected as a pretty solid value play. Chris Duarte, shooter's going to shoot. And then I guess Karis LeVert is the conversation that needs to be had. I really kind of glossed over him. And even on Fanduel, Malcolm Brogdon is 6,600, and that would be hard to turn away from. I know he's going to be limited, but that's hard to turn away from. But 8,100 on LeVert, 79. I guess the question would be, one, in this situation, how often does LeVert straight up outperform from a fantasy standpoint Devin Booker? Because we know he's going to lead the team in a lot of categories. And then and two, how do you guys weigh his propensity to play deep minutes if the game gets lopsided, right? So let's put LeVert on the court for the Pacers here. Let's take off Sabonis and Miles Turner. Yesterday, LeVert slow rolled. I don't know if you guys watched my prop stream, but I had LeVert over 30.5 PRA, and he had 4 fouls in like 11, 12 minutes, and I was like, oh, I'm done. Well, he checked in at the end of the third quarter, and then he just went ballistic. He actually got to like 40 PRA, cleared it, and the bulk of it being in the fourth quarter. There's hardly any sample size of this split. LeVert, 17 minutes of action without Sabonis and Turner. As you might expect, 36% usage rate, a little under a fantasy point per minute. Not enough minutes to really trust that as gospel. So I guess in the interest of sample size, we'll stretch it back to last October, and it'll get us a little bit more minutes. And this is not considering Malcolm Brogdon. It can only be that much higher without Brogdon. But we get it to about 327 minutes of sample size since the beginning of last year. 28% usage rate, a little over fantasy point per minute. So do you guys think that LeVert could see enough minutes, long enough, strong enough to, one, outscore Devin Booker, and two, be a optimal play today? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I'm just genuinely curious to see what you guys might be doing, because you guys are a nice little microcosm sample size of the field, right? I think my exposure to LeVert, from this far out, I've got a little bit of action on some of his overs on PrizePicks and props. I'm getting better projections on Devin Booker just because of the usage rate being what it is, just because the shot volume being what it is, and the game projecting to play a lot closer. But it wouldn't stun me if LeVert had a massive usage game where he just put up a lot of fantasy points. Golden State Warriors, as good as they are, their defense does take a hit without Draymond Green. So I could start creating wild card scenarios where the Pacers, surprise people. Maybe people wrote them off against the Lakers last night, and they thrived. But their efficiency without Sabonis has to take a dive bomb themselves. So it's going to be Karis LeVert or nothing, which makes me, really toy with the thought of how much LeVert do I actually want. And I don't know what the answer is right now. I guess it's going to be contingent on field ownership, right? I think today's becoming more of a game where we're finessing ownership and leveraging ownership versus anything else. I probably see myself between 20 and 30% from this far out on Levert, and hoping for a hunch that like Brogdon sits and the Pacers kind of stun the Warriors a little bit, keep it within 20. But it's a tough call. Levert's officially questionable now. Oh, so we might be in full punt territory. So I just did a lot of talking for nothing, huh? Brogdon Achilles questionable. So that was expected. So I don't expect Brogdon to play based on the Achilles information. If we have Levert out, and this might be a scenario we just don't have that information until an hour before lock. And once locks, right, we're stuck out, right? There's no swapping to other games because there's only one game left. It feels like a decent spot to full punt this game for the Pacers. And what would the punt crew look like? Well, it would probably look like Jeremy Lamb, Chris Duarte, Lance Stevenson, Isaiah Jackson, Torrey Craig, and all of these guys are well under 5K, several of them under 4K. The slate sucks. The slate sucks. Sorry. You know what else that sucks? Because I got some Levert numbers. What up, Mike? I always miss you, bro, because of work, but I'm off early here to make. Appreciate that, Mike. There's the Brogdon Q tag. Yep. I almost want Brogdon to play 25 minutes so they have a better chance of staying in it. Should I fade Luka and play Chris Paul and Book, or just have Luka and one or the other on DK? I think Chris Paul and Booker are a great way to handcuff a floor. Like, I think you can get 80 fantasy points between the two if I put them in the mix. Kiefer Sykes, yeah, Kiefer Sykes is definitely. I forgot about him. Let me put him in the bottom here. Let's put him over. I don't even know what to do. Sykes has definitely shown a couple of games so far where he'll just pull up from three and start chucking. So I mean, the slate now becomes if the field just kind of assumes the Pacers are going to punt this game, become studs and scrubs, right? You'll probably see a lot of 3-man pay. Like, what are the three Pacers value that people would want the most of? Justin Holiday is not somebody I like to play. I could see Lance. Let's go Lance, Sykes, just pulling names out of my head. And I don't know, Torrey Craig might play 38 minutes, right? He might be involved. If I put those three in the mix, and I already have Paul and Booker, it'll give me Randall, maybe J-Val. Can I get Ingram? And then 57 for a center, which is Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, you might see a lot of lineups that look like this, and you might even see some that go straight to Luka instead of Chris Paul, and then you probably chop down an Ingram or a Randall. Ugh. Are we stacking Indy? I mean, probably. It's going to be undeniable value, but I think the caveat here is if they just announce those guys questionable, we're probably you're not gonna have definitive answers by lock, just probably, right? Like if that game is 2.5, 3 hours after main slate locks, like you're probably not gonna have for sure answers until like an hour before. And there's no late swap. There's no late swapping, right? It's lock and then it's that game in 3 hours. So it puts us in a really uncomfortable, like a bad spot to plan. So you're essentially, I don't know. You can make some bold stands. You can put some Levert lineups in the mix, and then just make those late swaps later. But like, if you know right now that Levert and Brogdon are out, your lineup's gonna look a whole lot different now with these Pacers value, and you're gonna have a lot more Ingram and Randall and Luka and Paul. You know what I mean? And you're gonna have a little less Levert. But I guess the only pay up options in this game that you really feel like you have to get is probably Levert and some Curry, right? I don't think Klay Thompson becomes a priority because he's still restricted. So I guess you just bite the bullet on that and YOLO. And then maybe if you did have some Levert lineups, you transition that into a punt play Pacers and then more Steph, right? And just overpay for the floor. It sucks. What are you gonna do, bro? My puppy chewed up my Kobe's. No, I would probably no longer have a puppy. But also, why are the Kobe's like? That sucks, Jay. That sucks. Brogdon definitely going to sit with that Achilles. I don't know why he even played so fast. Yeah, I guess earlier in the stream I was very openly pessimistic about him playing tonight. So I guess yay for me, the process. Where's Luka compared to other pay up options for you? So on a small slate, if you're like me and you just weigh floor over everything, raw points are raw points on a 3-game slate. And I got Luka projected to be the highest fantasy scorer on the slate. About 8 points higher than Julius Randle. And then, that much higher than Steph Curry. So raw points being raw points with potential free squares from Pacers, I think Luka becomes a priority click here. I guess it would be worth looking at Luka's recent history against the Suns. Not just DKP by game log versus Suns. Again, putting some context to the situation for the Mavericks. It is a 3-4. It is a back-to-back. It is Chris Paul, but it's Luka. So I don't really care. 47, 49, 49. I'm going to go on a limb and say if he put up 49 fantasy points tonight, he'd probably be pretty live in tournaments because there's not going to be a lot of guys that profile as 50 fantasy point plays today. It's probably like Devin Booker, Curry here and there, but I got Luka over Curry by 12 right now. I don't really see that changing, so it'd just be more Luka for me. And then with the Warriors being on a back-to-back tomorrow, I think Curry's definitely one of those guys that they would chill out for a little bit if the game got away. So Luka might have to be number one priority now, right? The bonus is out. Yeah, I fully expected that. If Indiana is punting, how does Kerr keep Steph in the game? Your paint looks sneaky now. Yeah, speaking of which, let me refresh PrizePicks here. And this might be more of a first half, second half look. But did they touch the Warriors numbers? If Steph at 22 points, that's so low. They have him at 41 fantasy points. Holy. I was going to say maybe if they had like Steph at like, I don't know, 28, 30 real points. He's gotten you under 20 real points in 3 straight games. I don't know. I was going to see if that would adversely affect some projections from the Warriors to maybe take advantage of a few unders in games that wouldn't happen, Levert game time decision. Yeah, that's tough. What up, Ronald Jones? Yo, Ronald Jones, man. Bucks going home this weekend, bro. You heard it here first. You can play some golf next week. Well, maybe you can't. But you know what I mean. Anyway, that's what we're dealing with, guys. You guys got anything else here? It's pretty much one of those K-off, write-off slates. Wouldn't be results oriented no matter how you ended up tonight. Tomorrow's we're right back in the saddle. Ginormous slate. So we'll be back at it on this channel. Look for the prop show. 2 p.m. Eastern, maybe a little earlier. We'll see. The thing with the prop show is I didn't expect for it to be so easy to go so deep. And like today, I went like 40 minutes on something. I think I probably say, hey, dude, 3 picks, 20-minute show, right? No, here I am going game by game. And 40 minutes later, I'm just like, oh wow. So maybe I need to give myself a couple extra minutes to get that show done, and then this stream will for sure be live at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. So. Big day of basketball tomorrow. We'll beat them. Wish I was out there. Nah, man, Rams got you, bro. My boy Odell showing up. What are you gonna do? Where are we at on likes, guys? We're at 64 likes, 160 viewers. By the way, shout out to you guys. 160 you guys hanging out for a 3-gamer. Y'all are the real ones. We're at 5923. Bro, we have picked up 23 subs since about this time yesterday. That is so much love that I can't. Like, wow, could we get to 6K subs by the end of next week? If we're at 20 a day pace, obviously I don't do weekends. That's crazy, man. You guys are just the best. Um, anyway, I think that's gonna do it, right? I think that's it for the dead air. I appreciate you guys hanging out. If you guys are trying to get onto some prize picks action, we did do a prize picks video. Myself and Josh looked at the lines that are up there for tonight. I took some Karis LeVert. I might have to go back and fix some of those cards to still get my 10x viability. Yesterday I lost out on some 10xers because Robert Williams didn't play, but what are you gonna do? Chat, twitter.com/Gundacker. Maybe tonight I'll be back on the airwaves looking NFL. I'm going to see if I can reach out to Luke, get an update on that, get that spreadsheet going. But I'll be hanging out in the Discord the next couple hours, man. And otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow, but possibly later tonight as well. Stay warm out there. We're trying to get this heat going now, my love. Where's the seat? Hey, yeah. Let me get this heat going because I'm freezing. But stay. Done before I go. All right, I'm waiting for you, Brody. Cliffhanger. And we didn't get that. We didn't get the big Derek Jeter. You should think about doing a prize fix show at like 9 to 10 a.m. I have thought about that, and it might be something we do. The bad part about that is I'm usually asleep at 9 to 10 a.m. So I know it would behoove the channel a little bit more to have more soak time in those videos. But what I think I can do is some of these live streams that I do, it will be me. I'm adding to the team. My boy Luke has access to the channel. I'm trying to keep him involved here. Maybe I'll let him host a couple of the prize pick shows in the morning with the co-host. So maybe we will do some of that. But I agree with that, Brody. I think that's a really good suggestion. You know, I love you guys. I hope you crush it tonight. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.